Hey there, this is Mrs. Becky, and I'm going to be going over some examples in IXL Pre-Calculus Section G2, and that's on solving rational equations. Again, ratios are just fractions. A rational, I like to think of the word ratio, which is in it, which ratios, again, are just fractions. And so we have a fraction here equal to another fraction here. Now, IXL is going to show you how to do it a little bit differently. They're going to ask you to get the least common denominator and then multiply each side to get rid of the denominators. But I'm just going to cross multiply right there because it's going to be faster and easier, I believe. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is 10 times q, cross multiply that way. 10 times q plus 3 equals 7q plus 6. It's a little q. All right. Next step we're going to do is distribute the 10. 10 times q, 10 times 3. That gives us 10q plus 30 equals 7q. We're going to do the same thing here, plus 42. All right. Now we're going to move this 7q on the other side. So here it's a positive. So here we'll subtract it. Both sides. It's going to give us 3q. All right. And then equals 42. Whoops, I forgot my plus 30. Whatever. Okay. It's 30. Now we're going to subtract the 30 to get it over here on this side. And that's going to give us, this side will have 3q equals 12. We'll divide by 3, divide each side by 3, and these cancel out. So that's going to give us q equals 4. Now, some of these equations can give you two answers, and we will go through a couple of those together. Again, for example, number 2, we'll do the same thing. We're going to cross multiply, and that will give us 2d. I'll do this one first. 2d equals, I could put the 1 there, minus 4, but it's not necessary. Okay, because we're going to be multiplying by 1, so it's really not necessary. 2d equals just a d minus 4. All right, next step. We want to get this d on this side, so this is 1d. So we'll subtract it here. Subtract 1d there. 2d, take away 1d, just leaves us a d, equals negative 4. And that's our answer, negative 4. That one. Right, example number 3, same deal. We're going to cross multiply. And I'll do it down here. So that's going to give us negative 6 times y plus 1 equals negative 10 times y minus 3. And it doesn't matter which way you do these. I mean, I could have done this first and put it on that side. It doesn't really matter. All right, next step. We distribute like this. So we have a negative 6y minus 6 equals, same deal, negative 10y plus 30. All right. Next step, we want to get all of our y's together. I can bring this one over here. So if I add 10y on both sides, it's going to give us 4y. I'll bring down this -6, and I'll bring down this 30. We want to get this 6 over here with that 30. We want to have all our variables on one side. Here it's a -6, so I'll add it to help me move it. So that leaves us with 4y. This cancels out, equals 36. And divide by 4. Divide by 4 leaves us over here with y, these cancel out, equals 9. So again, we have one answer, y equals 9. Right, the next one, example number 4. First step, cross multiply. It looks a little bit different, so actually it might be, here I'm going to move these, might be a little lengthier. So we're going to cross multiply. All right, I'm going to do d minus 8 times d plus 5 equals, on this side, I'm going to do d minus 10 times d plus 2. So you got a little bit more work to do. All right. Now we have to FOIL this. All right, so that means we're going to multiply the d times the d first, which gives us d squared. D times positive 5 gives us 5d. Now we'll multiply -8 times d is going to give us a -8d. -8 times 5 is going to give us -40. On this side, same deal. D times d is going to give us d squared. D times 2 is going to give us a positive 2d. -10 times d will give us a -10d. And -10 times 2 is going to give us a -20. All right, so it's a little bit longer of an equation now than what we've been working with. And if you'll notice, we've got some of these that have turned into a variable raised to the second power. And if you'll remember, anytime you have an equation that is raised to second power, you have a possibility of two answers. So that's why you're seeing that you might have two answers. But on this one thing I noticed is that I have a positive d here, a positive d squared here, d squared here, d squared here. If I just take them both off, it doesn't affect the equation. They're still balanced. So we got rid of that d squared. Now we can combine these d's. So that's going to give us a -3d here, minus 40. And over here, we're going to have -8d minus 20. All right, I'm going to move this 8d by adding it on both sides. Okay, that gives us 5d. Going to bring down this -40. This is gone, and we still have our -20. Right, I need to get this 40 over here with this 20, so here it's a negative. So here I'm going to add it. That gives me 5d. These are canceled each other out. Equals 20. Now I just have, these are being multiplied, so I'm going to divide by 5. Both sides. This cancels out. This gives me d equals 4. So we only had one answer. on that one. All right, we're on to example number 5. This one's going to be a little bit different. First step we're going to do is cross multiply. I'm going to have, I'll do this one first, 2 times 6n plus 8 equals n times n plus 6. All right, we're going to distribute the 2. It's going to give us 12n plus 16. And we'll distribute this n, which is going to give us n squared plus 6n. Now, if you notice, there's nothing, here is an n squared. There's no other n squared on this side to cancel it out. So that makes me pretty suspicious that this is going to, it's going to be a quadratic. It's going to be, keep this variable raised to the second power. The way to solve those is you want to get all of these terms on one side of the equation and simplify it, right? So I'm going to maybe make this easier. I'm going to move, I'm going to set this side to equal 0 because I'm going to move this 12n on this side. Maybe write these here. I'm going to move this 12n over here. It becomes a negative on this side. And I'm going to move this positive 16 on this side, which it becomes negative on this side also. And that all equals 0. All right, I can combine these two like terms. So we still have 0 equals n squared minus 6n minus 16. So that is, if you'll remember, a quadratic when you're going to have to factor this, right? So the way that we did this is the way I've done it. All right, we're going to put an n in each parenthesis. We're going to take it from subtraction pretty much, and we're going to rewrite it into factors multiplication. So we're looking for factors of 16 that give us negative 6n. So the factors of 16, I mean, you can mess around until you find the right ones, but just to make this shorter, I know that negative 8 and positive 2, when you multiply negative 8 times positive 2, that gives us negative 16. And also, when I add those two, negative 8 plus 2, that gives me a negative 6. That's how I know that these are the magic numbers. They multiply together to give you this term. They add together to give you this term. Okay, now we're going to, because this still equals 0 on that side, we're going to set each one of these to equal 0 to be able to solve it. I'm going to set n minus 8 equals 0. And I'm going to set n plus 2 to equal 0. So we just solve those. I add 8 on both sides on this one. And that leaves me with n equals 8. And if we move this 2, that gives us n equals negative 2. So on this one, we did have two solutions. We have negative 2, and we also have 8. So in other words, if you plugged either one of those numbers back into this equation, it should stay balanced out. It would be fine. All right, moving on to the next one. Example number 6. Just same deal. We are going to cross multiply. We'll do this one first. So I have a negative x times x minus 7 equals 2 times 3x minus 15. Now I'm going to distribute. That's going to give me a negative x squared plus 7x equals distribute 6x minus 45. Mhm. Oops. Oops. I fixed that. That was really dumb. I think my NyQuil, Dayquil medicine for my cold is, I don't know what it's making me think. Anyway, I fixed that. That was really dumb. Now, um, we notice that we have this variable that is raised to the second power. Again, the way to solve that, since there's nothing to cancel out and get rid of them, it's going to be just like we did on this previous problem. So I want to get all these terms on one side and the other side, set it to equal 0. So what I'm going to do is move this negative x squared over on this side because that's going to make it positive. Let me move this 7x over there, and it's going to be a negative on that side. That leaves us a positive 6x and a negative 30, not 45. All right, we can combine these two. It's going to give us, we still have 0, x squared. Those leave us at 1, negative 1x, minus 30. So to solve this, we have to factor it. Let's get that color. Right, we're going to, let's see, this is still equal to 0. Each parenthesis, each factor gets an x because x times x, when you FOIL it back out, is going to give you that x squared. So we want the factors of negative 30 that will add up to a negative 1. All right, so that's not too hard. A negative 6 and a positive 5. When these two are multiplied together, it's going to give me a negative 30. When I add negative 6, positive 5, it's going to give me a negative 1. Now the next step is set each one of these to equal 0. And we'll set this one, x plus 5 equals 0. We will solve this one. We want x by itself. So we add the 6 on both sides. Here we have 6 equals x on this side. And if I move that 5, that gives us x equals negative 5. So those are our two answers for that one. Again, if you plugged either one of these answers into this original equation, you're going to end up balancing it out. Either one would work. Okay, I just went ahead and worked out these last two problems here. Just as another example, if you needed another example to go by. Anyway, that should be it for this section, and hope you do okay. Bye.